He went from Moody Punk to Moody Boom Bap. He ain't right. Get up here, man. Hey, let him know what's up, Moody. Get this motherfucking party started.
I go by the name of Moody. That's my stage name. But my actual name is Victor. I was born in Beverly Hills. I lived in South Central till I was, from like the time I was born till like almost turning 10. I lived in LA for a while, but I didn't grow up in LA. So I like grew up in Ontario. As far as like influence and everything, it's all from the IE and shit, Pomona, Ontario. I'm first generation, so yeah, Chicano. I was born in 1993, May 21st. So I'm gonna be, next month, I'm gonna be 29. I decided I was gonna start rapping on my 22nd birthday. From then forward, I started rapping. I was already in music for a while. Just fucking doing frontman vocals for like punk bands, hardcore punk bands. All just vocals. All my influence as far as music came from just listening to whatever my older brothers listened to. In 5th grade, I started kicking it more with friends, and then my homies showed me music, and it felt different than when like I was fucking hearing music at home with my brothers. Like it was something that I legitimately thought like, oh shit, I've never heard anything like this, but this sounds like something that genuinely interests me. You know, most kids will listen to whatever the older people around them are playing, or whatever the radio plays over and over and over. And when I started listening to punk, my immediate family, no, they didn't understand it at all. Because my mom was super traditional, so she saw it from an early age, punk, metal, all that stuff. So I started wearing like band tees and stuff. And some of the artwork on there, you know, would have like the devil and all kinds of shit like that. And me being in elementary school, middle school, she was like, what the fuck? Like she had no idea what it was. I mean, my parents didn't let me do whatever I wanted, but as far as music and stuff and video games and movies, they never regulated that. They just let me like, oh, if that's what you're playing or that's what you're listening to, like, okay, cool. I have a lot of like Warriors references. I think mainly because I was like really into the video game too. That's my favorite video game. The violence in it was fucking dope. Great game. I'd say that maybe I wanted to be a rowdy kid. That was a big appeal as far as like punk went. At that age, I guess I was probably ready, looking for something like that without even knowing. I had just started kicking it with friends who were like riding skateboards and stuff like that. A lot of people could look at like skating like a small thing, but it's when you're that young and then you start hanging out with people that are into it, it's not that much of a small thing because you're joining a different crowd. At least what was mainstream when I was about to graduate high school or graduating high school, it was garage punk. I wanted to go and play like shows at like drainage ditch spots with like people that'll stab you type shit, like crazy ass punk shows, you know. There was like 5 or 6 bands in our immediate circle, but it felt like there was only 9 or 10 of us, and we were all in the same bands, like we would share members. But it was pretty popping though. Lyrics on a punk song, the structure is definitely a bit different. You don't have to be so tight on the actual rhyming, you know? As long as you fucking yell it and you have that consistent energy, like you get away with it. But in rap, the audience doesn't really let you get away with not rhyming. The transition was easy as fuck. I didn't have a band to join. I would just freestyle all drunk with Cameron, with the homie. I didn't need a band to do it. It would just be like, yo, I could just look up beats on YouTube and I could just rap. The West Coast shit, I grew up with that, but my music definitely doesn't reflect that. Like DJ Quick is one of my favorite musicians, but my music doesn't sound like that because I was more into boom bap. Just like the eerie, like harsh type of fucking beats. Yeah, I feel like my music has a different vibe than mainstream stuff. That's the whole appeal. You're gonna pop the bottles and do all this shit. My music is more like for fucking the next day when you're all crudo, like driving around, trying to go get menudo and shit. Like you probably bump my shit in the car, smoking weed or something. Now I'm doing a lot of like performances at punk shows, or like thrash shows, or whatever the fuck kind of show I can get looked at that's not a hip hop show. When I was in a punk band, like I would hardly hear about shit like that. There wouldn't be like hip hop versus punk night. The show I'm doing on Friday is gonna have like rappers and punk bands going in South Central. There's always a reaction, but it's only cause like I used to be in punk bands. So I understand how it is to fucking, when you go out there, like you have to literally just perform and like lose your voice. and like go the fuck all out. A lot of fools that rap, they're like, they have really big egos. So when they get in front of a crowd, they want to look cool as fuck. They have to play like a certain like character and persona. Like putting in crazy effort, I guess that's not cool for a lot of fools, you know, for a lot of rappers. But I just fucking go all out. Like I fucking will be sweating, I'll be done, I'll be yelling at fools, rapping like in their face. And a lot of times, like whether they like it or not, at least they respect that. Like, damn, this was going all out on the stage. It's really high energy, you know what I mean? Some fools literally rap over their vocals. Like they literally won't even know all of their lyrics. If you're performing with food like that, it's really easy to like shine. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get this independent label to like set up a whole Europe tour. This fucking label pressed up like cassette tapes. They're out of Spain. They're like selling a bunch of fucking cassette tapes over there. I don't even have tapes in the store here in America, so it's cool to know that in Spain they're selling that shit like that. I haven't worked with like a crazy amount of artists. I've actually been pretty selective. The Dot, the homie Jack, J Solstice. In Cali, it's like, yo, I've already met a gang of people. There's like a lot of talented people here. I've become friends with like food that I was like fans of and shit for years. Rack One, that fool was doing shows in Pomona. He started his own shit, the Unity Project.
And that's what we present, Unity, right? The Unity Project, right? That's right.
Before he was doing the Unity Project, he was on the street team for the fucking Psycho Realm. I was doing shows with that for a minute. So it's cool. You have to keep together a team. So you look at it like from the creative standpoint, but you also look at it from like the physical work standpoint. I don't want to like make enough money to flex. I don't not want to make that amount of money, but that's not necessarily the goal. I said like, yo, if I could literally release music and have enough people connect to it that I can like survive, like that's the dream. At first it was all free, like free beats, free studio. I still never paid for a single beat, but like studio time, somebody's gonna mix it, somebody's gonna master it, somebody's gonna do the artwork for it. If you gotta shoot a video, it costs a lot of money to be an artist. So you gotta really want to do it. It's about just believing in it, believing in what you're doing. It's connected with enough people that like, yeah, I don't think I would want to stop doing it.